Hello. Today is 9th March 2021. My name is Mr. Dimana Emet. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Art program at College for America at Southern University. And I'm conducting this interview as a part of my academic work. With your consent, I record this interview and use the information in this video. I'm working on a project called Contribute to the Society. The interview will be used to create quick video and submitted for American Senate project This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No question.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes, I was senior. I give my contact to be participated in this interview to be recorded and used as part of the student academic work.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm going to ask you a few questions. The first question is, what are the differences of government?
I don't know.
The second question says, what does each branch do?
I don't know.
Thank you. Moving to the third question says, democratic and republic has a local practice. You name the third party.
I don't know.
Moving to the last question says, what is the basic process by which you give thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hello. Today is 9th March 2021. My name is Mr. Dimana Emet. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Art program at College for America at Southern Hampshire University. And I'm conducting this interview as a part of my academic work. With your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in the quick video. I'm working on a project called Contribute to the Society. The interview will be used to create quick video and submit to the College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any question? No question. Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yeah. My name is Odisa Nyonsengwa. I give my informed consent to be participant in this interview to be recorded and used as a part of the student academic work.
Thank you so much, Olive. I'm going to ask you different questions. The first question asks that, what are the three branches of government?
No, I don't know the question.
Thank you so much. The second question says, what does each branch do?
No.
The third question says that Democratic and Republic are the major parties. You name the third party.
No, I don't know.
The fourth question says, what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law? Thank you so much. This is the end of the class. Thank you for Thank you very much. My name is Mr. Dimana Emet. I'm a student at South New Hampshire University. Currently, I'm pursuing communication concentrated in business. With this, I'm working on a project called Government and You, under a goal called Contribute to the Society. In this project, I was assigned to conduct two street video where I interviewed two people, as well as asking them different questions related USA governments. With this, I'm going to sum up the solution of those questions, because those people were not able to answer well those questions. By starting, the first question asks, what are the three branches of government? The three branches of government, there is legislative, executive, and judicial branch. This branch play different role, where the legislative make law and it makes with Congress constitute of the House representative and senators. By moving, what does each branch do? By starting by legislative branch of United States government, it contributes to the drafting of proposed law as well as confirmation or rejection of presidential nomination for a head of federal agencies. This means that this branch aids in the selection of laws from among those proposed. These branches allow American citizens to vote senators and representatives using free and confidential ballots. Uh, this means that all Americans have the right to vote for a senator at no cost. This is especially significant because citizens now have the opportunity to express their feelings about voting because they have the right to vote for free. This enables them to select a leader who will represent their interests. This means that now Americans are allowed to vote their leaders who can help them in ways of development and other things. Moving to the second branch, which is executive branch. Executive branch is in charge of executive branch is in charge of carrying out the enforcing law. It consists of the president, vice president, and cabinet. With this, there are a key roles that executive branch plays, such as the president who leads the country, or he or she is the head of state, the federal government's leaders, and and commanded in chief of the United States Armed Force. On the vice president's side, he or she supports the president. With this, if the president is unable to serve, the vice president takes over as a president and cabinet member advise the president. This means that when the president is not around, the vice president is allowed to to do different activities as a president. The vice president heads of executive department and other high-ranking government officials are among them. As a result, federal agents department and office handle a large option of the work in executive branch. In this means that executive branch there is many activities that those people handle in the USA country. Moving to the third point, which is judicial branch. The digital branch of United States government clarifies the meaning of laws, implies laws or to specific case, and decide whether laws violate the institution. This indicates that the branch applied the law to specific case. According to the House resource, discovered that all these branches are linked because they help to ensure that the government is effective and that citizen rights are protected. This is because the legislative branch contributes to the creation of laws, the executive branch implements laws, and the legislative branch applies law. All of these parties are designed for US citizens, nearly ensuring that their rights are protected. This picture explains the three branches of government. The first one is legislative, where there is Congress, Senator, House of Representatives. The second one is executive, where there is President, Vice President, Cabinet, and the third one is judicial, where there is Supreme Court and other federal courts. Thank you so much. How are the three branches connected and how do they regulate each other? By starting, each of the three branches of government has the ability to limit the power of the other through the use of the check and balance. This prevents any one branch from becoming overpowerful, which means that they regulate the power of each other so that they can be on the same level. Each branch examines the power of the other branch to ensure that the power is distributed evenly among them. The process of making law, for example, it is a good example to check and balance at work. This is because the legislative branch introduces and votes on a bill, and the bill then goes to the executive branch, where the president decides whether the bill is good for the country. If they decide that the bill is good, they sign the bill and it become a law, which means that here, when the president found that the bill is beneficial to his or her followers, he signed a bill and it become law. However, if the president does not believe the bill is beneficial to the country, he does not sign it, or he can reject it. The legislative branch is given the opportunity to enact legislation. The legislative branch can override the executive branch vetoes with enough votes, and the bill become a law. Once a law is enacted, the people of the country can put it to the best through the country system, which is overseen by the government. Once a law is enacted, the people of the country can put it to the test through the court system, which is overseen by the judicial branch. A lawsuit can be filed if someone believes a law is just. A lawyer then agree for and against the case, and the judge decides which sides made the most compelling argument. By moving to the third question, which says Democratic and Republic are the major party. Can you name the third party? The third party is Mino. How did the two parties started? By starting first, the two-party system is a system in which two major political parties dominate voting in nearly all elections at every level of government, and the majority of the elected offices are members of one of the two major parties. In the United States of America, Democratic and Republican are the two-party system and are more dominated compared to the Mino party there. They started as a Federalist and Anti-Federalist read by Jefferson and Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton believed that for the United States to be successful, it would have to be formed in a similar way to the British imperial model that had been so successful. However, Thomas Jefferson, he believed that the Central Treasurer and National Army would handle the central government too much power than the economy driven by financial would lead to the reckless gambling. He also thought a strong president would be no better than a Polish king. Reference of the Polish tradition of aristocrats electing their monarchy from among their numbers. The disagreement or political factions or the parties began during the struggle over the ratification of the Federal Constitution of 1787. Frictions between them increased as attention shifted from the creation of the new federal government to the question of how powerful that federal government would be. The Federalists, led by Secretary of Treasury Alexander Hamilton, wanted a strong central government, while the Anti-Federalists, led by Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, advocated a state right instead of centralized power. How does bill become a law? The first one, every law starts with an idea. That idea can come from anyone, even you. Contact your elected official to share your idea. If they want to try to make it a law, they will write a bill. Moving to the second point, the bill is introduced. A bill can start in either House of Congress when it's introduced by its primary sponsor
a senator or a representative. In the House of Representatives, bills are placed in a, a wooden box called the hopper. Moving to the third point, the bill goes to committee. The representatives or senators meet in small group to search, talk about and make changes to the bill. They vote to accept or reject the bill and its changes before sent to. Moving to the fourth point, Congress debates and votes. Members of House or Senator can now debate the bill and propose change or amendments before voting. If the majority vote for and pass the bill, it moves to the other house to go through a similar process of commitment, debate, and voting. Both houses have to agree on the same version of the final bill before it goes to the president. Moving to the fifth point, presidential actions. When a bill reaches the president, he or she can. Moving to the sixth point, approve and pass. The president sign and approve the bill. The bill is law. Moving to the seventh point, the president can also vote. The president reject the bill and return it to Congress with the reason for the vote. Congress can override the vote with 2 out of 3 votes of those present in both the House and the Senator, and the bill will become a law. Moving to the eighth point, choose no action. The president can decide to do nothing. If Congress is in session, after 10 days of no answer from the president, the bill then automatically become law. Moving to the ninth point, protect veto. If Congress adjourns with the 10 days period after giving the president the bill, the president can choose not to sign it and the bill will not become a law. Finally, the bill is now law. How are the three branches connected? How do they regulate each other? Each of the three branches of government have the ability to limit power of the other through the use of check and balance. This prevents any one branch from becoming overly powerful. Each branch examines the power of other branches to ensure that power is distributed evenly among them. This process of making laws, for example, is good of checks and balance at work. This means that it is very important to balance work or different actions. This is because the legislative branch introduces and votes on a bill, and the bill then goes to executive branch where the president decided whether the bill is good for the country. If they decide that the bill is good, they sign the bill and it become a law. However, if the president does not believe the bill is beneficial to the country, he doesn't not sign for it. The legislative branch is given another opportunity to enact legislation. The legislation branch can override the executive branch veto with enough votes, and the bill becomes a law. Once a law is enacted, the people of the country can put it to the test through the country system, which is overseen by the government. Once a law is enacted, the people of the country can put it to the test through the country system, which is overseen by the judicial branch. In addition, a lawsuit can be filed if someone believes a law is unjust. Lawyers then agree for and against the case, and judge decide which side made the most comparing arguments. This diagram depicts how each branch influenced the other. Moving to the third question, which says Democratic and Republic are major parties. Can you name the third party? The third party are MINO. How did the two-party system start? They started as a Federalist and Anti-Federalist read by Jefferson and Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton believed that for the United States to be successful, it would have to be formed in similar way to British imperial model that had been so successful. In meantime, Thomas Jefferson assumed that central treasure and national army would give the central government too much power, and that finance-driven economy would lead to irresponsible gambling. He also thought a strong president would be no better than a Polish king, a reference of Polish tradition of aristocrats electing their monarchy from among their number. What impact do the third minor parties have on nation politics? The third party candidates may also increase vote turnout by bringing more people to the polls. Third party candidates at the top of the battle can help to draw attention to other party candidates from the battle, assisting them winning local or state office. What is the basic process by which bill become law? The bill is sent to a president after it has been proven by both the House and the Senate in identical forms. The legislation is assigned and become law if the president signs on it. If the president does nothing for 10 days while Congress is in session, the bill becomes law automatic. Again, I'm going to discuss about two things, and those are the third party and describing them and how the bill become law by explaining 9 steps that it passes through before it become law. The first step is minor parties in United States include the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, the Constitution Party, and other with less court than major parties. The Libertarian Party advocates laissez-faire policy, small government, and is socially liberal, where official conservative. The Green Party is progressive political party that promotes eco-socialism. This indicates that the Green Party will continue to emphasize what will not harm the environment, which means they are there to realize the things that cannot harm environment as well as citizens. The Constitution Party, on the other hand, is a social and Physical Conservation Party that support the religion freedom. This means that the Constitution Party is the religion right sponsored social and physical modest party. This means that they are there to play a great role in ways of religion, things like that, religion freedom. The first step, the bill is drafted. With this step, the senator and members of the House of Representatives who have ideas for law can write a bill. Their suggestions come from members of Congress as well as ordinary citizen and advocacy group, which means that those people are there to think more about laws that citizens can follow. Moving to the second step is bill is introduced. The bill must be introduced once it has been drafted. This is critical because once a bill is introduced, it can be found on official government website that track federal legislation Congress. That is Congress. The government assists in keeping track of law legislation is passed. If a representative is a sponsor, the bill is introduced in the House. If a senator is a sponsor, the bill introduced in the Senate. This demonstrates that the bill was introduced based where it was written. This is really show how the bill is introduced based where it comes from. The third step, it is bill goes to the committee. Here, in this step, as soon as a bill is introduced, it is assigned to commit. Both the House and Senate have the several committee comprised of the group of members of Congress who are particularly interested in various topics such as health or international affairs. The community is here to assist in determining what is the best for community. These are there to think critically what the things will benefit more about their peoples or their community. With this, if the committee does not act on a bill, the bill is considered to be a deal. Moving to the fourth step, which is subcommittee review of the bill. With this step, subcommittees are organized within a committee and specialize in specific subject. This means that subcommittees are organized within a committee and have more diverse specialization on a given topic. Committees can do this by referring the bill to a subcommittee for further study and hearing. Subcommittee may make change to the bill and must vote to send it back to the full committee. Here the subcommittee are there to realize if the bill can be voted. Moving to the fifth step, which is committee markup of the bill. With this step, the committee will meet to make up the bill after hearing and subcommittee review are completed. This means that the committee will convene after discovering what comes from the subcommittee review in order to straighten up a bill. Before recommending the bill to the floor, the committee can make change and rewrite it here. If a committee votes not to report legislation to a full chamber of Congress, the bill is killed. If the committee approves the bill, it is reported to the floor, which means here the committee are there to approve if the bill can be followed by its citizen. Moving to the sixth point, which is voting by full chamber on the bill. Here, when a bill reaches to the floor, it is debated further and member of the full chamber vote to approve any amendment. That is when a bill brought to the floor. There will be additional debate among the members before the full chamber votes to approve any amendment. The bill is passed or defeated here by the vote of the member. Here means that those people are there to debate by raising if the laws can be implemented. The seventh step is the referral of the bill to the other chamber. Here, when the House of Senator pass a bill, it is sent to the other chamber, where it is usually goes through committee before being brought to the floor. This means that the chamber that received the bill after it was reviewed by both the senator and the House will have to take the same path as the committee to a final floor. This means that the chamber that received the bill after it was reviewed by both the senator and House will have to take the same path as the committee to the final floor. This chamber has the authority to accept the bill as they are rejected them, ignore them, or change them. Here means that are there to accept the bill or reject them, or making any decision that they want if the bill can be followed or not. Moving to the 8th point, which is the bill goes to the president. With this step, after both the House and Senate have approved the same bill in identical form, the bill is sent directly to the president. After receiving them, the president approves the legislation, which is then assigned and become a law. If the president does not act for 10 days while Congress is in session, that the bill becomes a law automatically. If not, the other hand, the president opposes the bill, they will be defeated. But from the other hand, the president is opposed to the bill. He or she has the authority to veto it, which means that the president can accept the bill to be a law or not, is the one who is in charge of that. The last step is overriding a vote. If a president votes a bill in the case, the Congress may attempt to override the vote. This demonstrates that if the president votes a bill, Congress may attempt to override the vote. Furthermore, if both the Senator and House pass the bill by the 2/3 vote, the presidential vote is overruled and the bill becomes a law. Those are 9 steps that shows how bill becomes a law. Thank you very much.